Hi Fam Bam, welcome to the Simplified series. Today I'm going to be talking to you about my 7 decluttering hacks. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you like these topics, please let me know by hitting thumbs up. As always, leave your questions and comments below. If you have any decluttering hacks, I'd like to know below. And if you're new, subscribe for more information on how to level up your current reality. If you haven't downloaded the free decluttering checklist yet, I've made one for you right in the video description. You can click that link to download. This will hopefully help you clear your spaces from a more simplified approach and hopefully an easier one, so you're not dealing with so much decision fatigue. So I have 7 decluttering hacks that make my life more simple, make it easy to stay decluttered, make it easy to assess my spaces and decide whether or not I want to keep something, let it go, or bring something new in. The first decluttering hack that I have is to make sure that I store seasonal or specific purpose items in separate spaces. So what this means is if it's summer and I live someplace where it's winter, I'm gonna take my winter boots, winter coat, winter clothing, thermals, etc., place it in a bin and store it out of sight. Have a specific space where these items are going to be stored. I do this for holiday items. I do have one bin that carries holiday items, mainly because we had guests the last holiday and the kids asked for the ability to decorate for the holidays. So we do have like a little bin, but once it's done, everything holiday goes in there. We don't let anything trickle out. We don't store it in our cabinets or any spaces where we can see it, and it's just out of sight, out of mind. The second decluttering hack I have for you is to create functional storage space. You guys know that I am not about more storage, I really don't like more storage. But my brother, who is in interior design, made a point that I was feeling so overwhelmed, like my place was big clutter, and I was actually stuck in this conundrum where I was like, I've decluttered and there's still too much stuff. You guys know I did a video on that. And what I realized was actually creating functional storage space helps make things stay decluttered, but you still have a specific place for everything, which is actually my hack number 3. But let's talk about the storage spaces first. This is an example of storage spaces. So I'll go ahead and show you what's inside. For example, there's not much inside here, but they're actually batteries, extra cards, extra lenses, and I got a charger. But everything else is batteries in here. So this is batteries that would be otherwise sitting on counters or stuffed in corners on shelves. They don't look really pretty to have in sight. So this one over here, ooh, heavy. They're actually extra notebooks, journals, whiteboard pens, and colored pens. And that's what's, oh, I'm not even showing it to you. That's what's inside this one. And in this one, it's office supplies. So obviously, like I said, decluttering hack number 3, have a specific place for everything. These are 3M tapes that we use to hang stuff on the walls temporarily for work. We've got some double-sided tape, permanent marker, envelopes, packaging tape, thank you cards. This is obviously not, this is sight for sore eyes if you leave it out or leave it in your desk. It's stuff that you don't need to use daily, but you use them maybe weekly or regularly and you want to have access to them. And look, it looks so pretty back here. And this was all thanks to my brother's advice. And so it looks so simple and it's easy to access, it's functional, and it keeps the clutter down. Imagine if all that stuff was just organized neatly on the bottom shelf. It would look something horrid. So that helps keep the decluttering or the clutter down as far as visually. And obviously we still use these items. They're intentional items and they're functional, meaning easy to access. They're here in the office. This is where we use them. So number 3, have a place for everything. This is super huge when it comes to decluttering, because if you're just storing a bunch of extra stuff and kind of shoving them in the cabinets and closets, the cabinets and the closets get so cluttered. I know, sorry mom, I'm gonna throw you under the bus, but I know at my mom's house, when you go under the sink, it's like, I don't even know. It's like an old warehouse that has just stockpiled all kinds of body care and nail polish and cotton balls and who knows what, like cleaning items. I mean, it's just to the brim. And to get to stuff, like sometimes I'll say, hey mom, do you have a nail file I can use? And she goes, yeah, check under my sink. Great. It's like playing an I Spy movie, like aware under your sink, you know? And so it's just really hard to manage. You have to take stuff out and like try to figure out where it is. And 99% of the stuff down there isn't even used. So having a specific space for your items makes you aware of what items you use, what items you have, and when you run out, that space becomes empty and then you can go out and refill it again. The fourth decluttering hack I have is if you do have extra useful items, have a extra or separate space to store them in. I used to have a bin. So an example of this is like, let's say it's Christmas and somebody got me a nice bar of soap set. I don't buy bars of soap for myself, but I will use them, and it's great to not have to go buy soap for a little bit, but I'm not going to use all three at the same time either. So I might take the 2 extra bars and stick it in my overstock items. In this house, we have an overstock closet because I wanted them to be accessible. It made it very functional for us. It's nice for us to overstock certain items that we might need, like toothpaste or medicines, and have them there. We use the ones that are in front if they need replaced in the kitchen or in the bathrooms, etc. We take them out of the overstock closet, and then when we assess what we need to buy in groceries, we actually look at the overstock closet, see what we're missing, and then refill that overstock closet. And that's the way that we do it here. But there are definitely some useful items that you don't want to get rid of and that you are going to use, hence my notebooks. So many of these are given to me, and they are stored in a space that's separate. Like they're not all on my bookshelf, and they're not with my journals or notebooks that are in use right now. So keep them separate so that they don't clutter your spaces, and the things that you are actually using are in functional spaces. My fifth decluttering hack is to cycle out consumable preferences. What I mean by this is, for example, right now I have smudge stick. So natural incense, we've got sage and Palo Santo in here. And I was into this now. I have not bought sage or Palo Santo for years, like at least 2 years, I think. And it's been a while because prior to this, I've really been into candles. That's actually my last one right there on the shelf, which is why I went out and got this. And I only got like 1 pack, so there's like 3 sage sticks in a pack. If I had a choice, I would just get 1, but if you get the 1, it's like a giant sage stick. So I just got like 3 of these mini sage sticks and the smallest pack of Palo Santo that I can find. I think they were like 6 sticks. And instead of buying like a ton of candles and a ton of incense and a ton of natural incense and a ton of fragrances like to spray the house with, or like essential oils for the purpose of like making a scent in the house, I just pick one at a time. So right now my cycle is the natural incense, and I'll use all of these up. And then once they're done, I'll cycle out and reassess. Do I want to go back to candles again, or do I want to do the essential oils and diffuser, which is what I was really into before the candles. Maybe I'll do like the incense sticks. You know, it's just an example of how this works. This can also work with just personal fragrance. Like instead of having 6 different perfumes, you know, or body sprays, maybe you start with scented lotion, and then next time you get a fragrance, use that fragrance all up. I know it's tough because fragrances can last for a really long time. That's why I like getting like teeny tiny stuff so that I can cycle them out, but I'm not keeping a collection of things that are going to last me like several years to use up. Number 6 on my decluttering hacks is use multifunctional items, and try as best as you can to avoid single-use items. An example of this is coconut oil versus just cuticle cream. You guys know that I think coconut oil is the most amazing thing in the world. Anything that can serve the purpose of 10 or more things is the most amazing thing in the world to me. So that's just an example of a consumable item. In the kitchen, you might look at something like a blender as a multifunctional item versus a juicer as a single-use item. I know that I like juicing once in a while, so we do have a juicer for medicinal purposes. It's just up to you and what adds value to you. If you're finding that you're not using these items and they're just being stored then reassess or rethink how much value it's really adding to you. When you are going to the store to look for new things, just keeping that in mind helps you reduce the clutter. The last thing that I have on my decluttering hack, and I love this one so much. I love it so much. I don't know why I love it. Maybe because it's rebellious. It feels really rebellious. But the last thing is be okay with separating the sets. Oh, so what I mean by this is if you buy something in a set, like we bought these silicone flipper-doos, what are they called? Spatulas, like ladles, all kinds of things. Like it came in a set and there's like 12 of them in a set. And we're like, we don't need all of this. Like a lot of it is cool. Like more than half of it is cool. But there are a few that we definitely don't need or use ever. Don't be afraid to let it go. I don't know about you, but it's really hard for me to want to separate them. It's like they're family. They belong together. But the truth is, you end up just storing like the second half when you don't need to. Give it to somebody else who can use it, send it to Goodwill, etc. Like you don't need to store it. Another example of this is like I bought the earphones that came with like the different sizes and shapes to adjust the earphones to your ears. And it's so easy to want to just keep it in that little tiny plastic bag they come in and store it somewhere just in case you're not going to use it. You just might as well throw it away. So if you do get things in sets and you realize that there's one or two or a few of the items that you're not using, don't be afraid to ask somebody else if they can make better use of it than you. And that is like my favorite decluttering hack on this list. I want to know what your favorite decluttering hack is, or if you would add any other hacks to this list in the comments below. And I will see you guys in the next video. Remember to be good, be great, be grateful, and most of all, be grateful. Check out that decluttering checklist. Let me know how it goes, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Ciao.